What's up, guys? This is Know Your Worth TV. You know who it is. It's Ephraim Lozada. If you're coming for the first time, I appreciate you. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel where you see more interviews with some dope people, whether they're entrepreneurs, artists, singers, whoever may be with a story. I feel that it's so impactful that we share not just the negative that's happening to the world, but how someone can overcome something and become something from, a stressful past in life, or like me, being adopted, sexual abuse. Really changing their lives and understanding that their past doesn't have to really be what their future is actually, entails. So today I have a special person, and if you guys are actually coming back, thank you as well. Make sure that you guys continue to share and always subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel. But today's a dope, human being, man. I've known this dude for some years. He's actually a singer, tours in Europe, and I think that's just dope that he even does that. So today we got Mr. Elae Weekes. What up, brother?
What's up? How you doing, King?
Hey, man, amazing, man. I appreciate you actually sitting down with me and giving me your time. I know you've been busy. Just dropped a dope video, right? Dance Like Fire.
Yes, I appreciate it.
And truly, man, when you hear it, it's exactly that. It makes you just want to dance. So pretty dope track, man. So really kind of commend on everything you've been doing since I've met you. How long it's been?
It's been, well, first of all, thank you for the invitation to come to your show. So it's a blessing to be on your platform. So
why not?
100%. It's been years. That was 2006 I met you. That was my freshman year of high school, 2006 in Florida. So
makes me feel old, man. I've been out of school now 14 years, 15. So it's been a minute, man. And actually the last time that we got to see each other was when I went to Boston for the first time since I moved to Orlando. And it was dope to just kind of vibe with you. You showed me the city. That was pretty dope, man. And to this day, man, my wife always says that had to be the best vacation I had. I was fighting elves on that vacation. It was pretty dope, man. Things I never even imagined. But even running into you, man, after all these years,
it's dope. It's a blessing. It's a blessing to see.
I didn't know if we would actually be able to hang out, and we did. And it just happened so random, man. Like, it's not like you knew I was in the city or anything like that. But I always felt you were just an amazing person. I knew that you were going to do amazing things. And, I don't go to cities and just see everyone. You know what I mean? But there was a relationship, and whatever that may have been that was built years and years prior. And I was always just following your career. So
I appreciate that.
Let's talk about it, man. I feel that you've kind of been doing this since I've known you. But kind of listening to you a couple of days ago as you were on another live, I heard that there was also a struggle that kind of almost led you to not do music. Is that correct?
Absolutely. One out of many, but I think
of course, I already know.
I think there were some very big times that I at some point was going to completely give up, and I think the one that I was describing then was my time going to Los Angeles with the express purpose of trying to get into the industry, and it was just terrible. It was just terrible. It was horrible. LA has this good way of inviting you to come out, and it seems glamorous and flashy, and you think you're gonna go somewhere, and that summer I ended up just completely at some point stranded on Hollywood Boulevard trying to get from a studio back to where I was staying. It was horrible. And I remember coming back, my best friend at that time, he was in this thing called Monsters of Hip Hop, and he was just excelling and then coming back to where we were staying, and he's every day dancing with all the famous people's choreographers, and I'm missed another studio session. You kind of got locked out of this and the third, and I was gonna give up, but I didn't give up.
Have you always been singing your whole life? You always knew that this is kind of a passion that you always wanted?
For the most part, yes. So for as long as I can think of, I've been singing forever. I come from a musical family, so my mom is a vocalist, my father's a guitar player, and I have brothers who play drums, who play bass, who play piano. Two of my brothers are producers now, so everyone in my family does music. I'm the only vocalist of all my siblings. I'm the only vocalist. So so that's pretty much been my life, singing since I was a kid.
So really quick, because people want to know, how did I really meet this amazing singer, right? Believe it or not, I used to be in chorus, and every time that I see him on a live or in person or something, He always brings it up. Like, yo, you're not singing?
Mhm.
I'm like, no, I'm not singing. So before he says it, because he's going to say it at some point today,
Oh
he's going to say,
yes,
I'm going to break it on it. Listen, I do not sing, man. I don't.
I want people to know. I want people to know that, like, and so you kind of, a lot of people don't understand that every interaction has a potential to leave a mark on everybody. So like I tell people now, because people ask me more recently, people have been asking me, like, who's he friend? Who's he friend? I'm like, back when I was in ninth grade, he was a person who you wanted to sing with. Right, he was the one. He was an upperclassman, so you definitely wanted to be a part of whatever singing circle he was doing or whatever it was. And so it's crazy to me because he's telling me he's not a singer anymore. I don't understand that English, so he's gonna sing for you guys soon. But you guys
Hey,
got
man,
to give
I
it
sing
to.
around the house. I sing to my child. But the last time that I actually sang had to be leaving high school, believe it or not, man. But so it's just
Wicked.
amazing, to see what you've done and to know, even like the amazing story that I kind of want to get into, man, is how did you get into touring in Europe? Like, how did it all come about? Were you already touring in America and you said, I want to do something different? Or is that where you started? I think it's pretty cool. And anyone that's watching that may want, as an artist, may want to take that route.
Funny enough, I've never actually done a tour in America. I've
Wow.
actually performed very few places outside of my city here in the States. But the in terms of touring over in Europe, so one thing that we discussed in the past, you and I, is networking. And so over the
Facts.
past 5 6 years,
Yeah.
um, I've been networking with an array of different producers, different people in the industry abroad. So by the time I was prepared to go to Europe for the first time, um, or rather the second time when I went back to Europe, I had
Mhm.
already had a number of different people who I was connected with, and I kind of utilized those resources within each of those cities that I stopped in, to kind of put together my own makeshift tour, and it worked. It worked. It was difficult because when you're touring, anyone who's ever toured, if you're like touring with a label, everything's taken care of. So like they have where you're staying. You as an artist don't really do anything but rehearse and perform, and then obviously be the face after the show to sign autographs and stuff like that. When you are your own touring manager, or your own booking agent, you're your own, you do everything for yourself. Is difficult, but that's kind of how I got into it. And yeah, did a few countries and I loved it.
Hey,
I
man,
loved
I
Europe.
want to go back when you say doing it to yourself. People don't understand that. That's in like entrepreneurship. That's in being an artist. People think they're just going to just sing. Before you just singing on somebody's label or anything like that, or getting a team,
Right.
it's a lot of hustle. It's a lot of grind. It's a lot of you wearing so many different caps. So
Absolutely.
I'm happy you highlight that, because anyone that's watching and want to kind of get in this avenue in life, don't think it's just going to be, just easy peasy. Nah, man, you're going to have to put in a lot of work
Mhm.
and wear a lot of different caps. So appreciate you kind of, touch base on that.
Absolutely.
Um, so do you plan to do something in America, or
Um,
like you just felt the love was so amazing over there that you just kind of enjoy being in Europe?
I think that I want to focus on home for a little
Mhm.
longer now. I'm definitely going to go back. So in my head, outside of the Caribbean, England has become my second home. So I'm definitely going to be in England for some time. I've For the past 3 years, I've been spending long periods of time over in England. But I want to start doing more shows here in Boston. I've had opportunities to do shows in Los Angeles, and I'm a part of different collective circles around the country. So I think I might want to just take a step back from always going over, maybe not being in France, maybe not performing in Monaco and stuff like that. Maybe just going there to do recordings and songwriting for different artists. But performing here because I want to grow my home base. I have some fan, like when I put out a song. If you look at my analytics, a lot of people in London are listening to it. But I want to get more of my people over here to listen to my music and reach out more to my community over here.
I mean, I would say you're at this point you're a professional. How long have you been doing it professionally after high school? Did you actually? I don't know. We touched base with that earlier, but did you go straight out of high school and get into this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, or did you actually take on a nine to
so
five, or?
so after high school, it's funny. So I know Efrain from, I used to live in Orlando. For those who don't know, because a lot of people are gonna see this, I left Boston in seventh grade and then was living in Orlando till I did seventh grade, eighth grade, ninth grade, and half of 10th grade, and moved back to Boston and finished off high school here. But I was kind of discouraged actually from doing music my first 5 years of college. So I ended up singing extra year in college, and yeah, I was super discouraged. So I didn't do anything in terms of my own music career. I did perform here and there, and I did like do some backup singing, and I used to host shows. But in terms of like, me, I didn't start to get into the industry until 2014. My best friend and I went up to LA, and it was amazing. 2016 is the first time I released a song. So I would say from 2016 to now.
Some time. That's about so you're probably going about 6 years at this time.
Hmm.
So everyone knows they see the music game, but don't know the struggles. And I think what's important with Know Your Worth TV, and the big reason I even started the platform was I really want to highlight. So many people see the great, right? They see all the amazing things that are happening with someone because of social media. And obviously, a lot of times
Right.
we do post the good, but I feel like people don't post the process, so people don't realize the process. And realize the reason I wanted to start Know Your Worth TV is I think I want people to understand that yeah, you're able to do it. It just takes work, right?
Right.
There's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be some L's you got to take. There's going to be some sacrifices you got to make. And I'm pretty sure that you've had to encounter every single one of those moments. What are some of the moments that you felt that you had to overcome that could make someone not want to pursue that career?
Um. Okay. I'll pick one. I'll pick a couple. One of the first things is not having management. So
Yep.
sometimes you wake up in the morning and you're like, I need to figure out how to progress with
Yep.
no rubric, no template. You see, you see the end goal because like you've dreamt it before. You know where you came from, but the in between is just like for as far as you can see, you are nowhere. You had to figure out who to send what to, come up with money to, studio time and production and this and the third. And then once you make the music, it's thousands more. Like I spent a pretty penny on the Dance Like Fire project. And when you're putting out that kind of money and you don't see the return, a lot of times you're just like, you know what? Let me put my resume out and go
Yeah.
do that. But then it's also like you get that one song and then the radio station hits you up and you're like, oh, and then you're like, oh, it's playing on the radio. Let me do this radio show. And so like it's always tough when it comes to song release. It's always a lot of people call their songs or their projects their
Yeah.
babies because we
Mhm.
just want to see them flourish. Like we spend so much time crying over the tracks and then refining it and then giving it out to you guys. And then it's kind of like, will you guys accept it? And then also like not trying to use our art only for money because then there are people who are like, if I want to get famous off the song and they get discouraged song after song after song. And it's kind of like, you gotta put in your time and trust the process. Like if you trust the process and you focus on refining your art and making things that are honest, it will hit eventually. So yeah, that's me. That's where I am.
One good thing that you mentioned, and this is like for anyone that wants to get in any types of business, was that you have to invest in yourself, and I think that's very important as well. Me doing, I've had different avenues where I've had to do different, where there was a cafe or where there was reselling furniture and appliances. Like I think I've done a couple different things. T-shirts. You really got to invest into your craft. A lot of people don't. I don't know. I guess they don't realize that you truly do have to work on your craft. I also want to say that if you're watching and you're thinking about how do I invest in my craft and make no money, don't be afraid to get that 9 to 5 job. I wouldn't even say 9 to 5, but part-time job, something that's actually
Right.
going to help you get that studio time or pay that camera guy or whoever it may be. Like it's
Yeah.
cool. I think I don't know about you, but my feeling on working a part-time job, 'cause I actually do work a part-time job now. It's like it's all right, and I feel that's where people don't see that on social media. They just see all the flexing and all that other
Let me
stuff. And I
tell
don't think
you,
people understand, man. It's cool to have that part-time job and still continue to work towards that passion or
I've
that
had
career.
I've worked as so many different positions. I've worked as the coordinator of a student center at my college. I've worked at Staples. I've worked at I was event host for a club. I've worked in production for
Mm,
films.
There you
I've
go.
worked in traveling, dance competition company. I've done a lot of different jobs. And just like the last job that I did that was on the like that was a job for someone else. As I worked on a movie. It's out. I can talk about it. It's out now. It's called Ava. It stars like
Oh,
Jessica Chastain. It stars Colin Farrell, Common. And I remember just I was working like locations production assistant,
yeah.
and I'm like, yo, I'm gonna work hard. And I'm gonna get enough money to tour Europe, and like that was kind of my dream. This
Hmm.
2018, and in 2019, I packed myself up and went to England, like
By
5 hours
yourself.
north of any of my family members, like to go stay with somebody who I had networked with off of IG, which was like the craziest thing I had ever done, but it
Hey
was the best
man,
thing I had ever done ever in my life. And that following May 9th, I think that started my tour.
Instagram is pretty crazy, man. People don't realize the how
Right.
you're able to network and communicate off of Instagram. There's this guy that I met for the first time, and it was really off of Instagram. I was following him. I loved how he was, he was an influencer and how he was just doing so many different things. And I happened to see that he was in Orlando, and I'm like, dope. Like, let me hit him up. I hit him in Orlando. He actually happened to be down the street. He was speaking at an event here somewhere. So I literally picked him up and I drove him all day, man. And the knowledge that I was able to just gain within that little bit of time, people don't
Right.
realize they don't use those resources, man. Like those
Right.
Instagrams, those Facebooks, they're there for you. They're definitely, especially when you are so independent, when you don't have a team, got to be in those DMs, and so
Right.
not everyone's going to respond to you, but that's okay. You know what I mean? Like, at least you knew that you sat here and you did your part. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So that's pretty dope. So what are some other things that you've had to deal with going to Europe? Has everything always been amazing for you? Was there some struggles that you even had to deal with when you weren't home? You were
Um,
somewhere completely different.
okay, so one thing I had to deal with when I went to Europe, I won't say which country. I'll leave I was supposed to go to um I was promised, so I had a conversation with somebody who I'd worked with. He's a producer I'd worked with, and he so there was an open invitation to perform in the country that he's in. And I was told to come at a certain time so that I could practice and rehearse with the band. And I'm in France at that point, and I'm trying to get in contact with this person, and he seemingly not responsive. Seemingly, mind you, like me, I'm playing my own tour. I've been like budgeting out a certain amount. I'm supposed to receive a certain amount. I'm using a certain amount, different accommodations for different countries. So I'm supposed to leave France and go to this country next, and it's been like 5, 6 days. The dude who's supposed to sort out my accommodations for this next place gets back to me. He's like, sorry, I've been busy, but and he says, this, like I said, I'd only be available for these 2 days out of 11 days. Right. So he told me to come for 7 days to where he's at. And that was fine. Like where he's at, I have friends and family. Right. So I'm like, okay, for the first couple days, like I need
Yeah.
to see my family anyways. Like I'm good, like whatever. Then when he hits me with that, I'm like, yo, what am I doing? Mind you, I hit on my family members, like nobody was responsive. So I literally arrived to this country, like, where am I going? Like, where am I staying? Mind you, I still have to perform. So like
Yeah.
I'm carrying I get to the country, one of my fans, who is now one of my good friends, shout out to him. He was like, just stay with me. Like he was somebody who like admired my music, and like I had gone back and forth with him. Now I consider him like a family member. So whenever I
Did,
go
did you also
over to
meet
that
him on the
country,
gram?
pardon,
You also met him on Instagram?
on IG. Yep, yep,
Crazy. That
yep.
networking, man. Listen, when we say this, me, you, when we talking about the other day, people don't realize that network communication, man, is key.
Right, right. This dude really wanted to work, and he kept asking me like, "Yo, what's up when you coming through?" Da-da-da. I'm like, "Yo, honestly, I'm short on my situation." He was like, "You know what? Not only that, he came and got me from the station, brought me back to his crib for the first
Love.
3 days. I
Yeah.
go up to another city to do what I have to do in another city. I come back to that city where I'm supposed to like wait for the next few days to do my
Mhm.
last performance, and I'm like, where am I gonna like? Where am I going? Like, I'm so tired, haven't slept. Again, I'm the one planning everything, so I'm up night making sure the morning is prepared for the shows. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, that. I get off the bus from this other city to the city that I was in before, and I have 20 pounds in one hand of luggage, 50 pounds in the other hand of luggage. And I'm walking, I leave the bus station, and I'm just like, I have no destination. So like I got like at that point, I took the rest of the money I had, got a hostel, but the hostel was like 3 miles away. So I'm like
Man.
walking, tired, haven't slept in like a full night's sleep in weeks. I was getting like an hour here, 2 hours there. Haven't slept. I look like a zombie, right? With 20 pounds on one hand, 50 pounds in the next hand, and I gotta get to this hostel, which when I got there was horrible. Like the hostel, okay, so hostels are awesome and they're good ways to save money when you're traveling, but
Yeah.
make sure you check out the hostel's reviews. Because I didn't know at that point, after I had already bought the room with the little money that I did have, that there were 18 people in that room. I hated it. Yes. And
One
mind you,
room,
right?
18 people.
Yeah, mind you, I'm there, right? And I
Listen,
have to
don't
leave
tell my
there.
wife that. I always tell my wife when I want to travel, like I want to do a hostel. Now we have a little family, so we can't. But if she was to hear that story, she'll definitely never step into a hostel.
Well, well, you have to just check ahead of time. That was my first time, and I was like, I just need somewhere to go. Like, I need somewhere to go. It's getting late. It's getting dark. Like, I gotta go somewhere. So
Yeah.
I went there. Didn't even think about it. Got there. I'm leaving there. Like people who usually go to hostels and just traveling. They're quick travels. They're stopped
Right.
there. They go to the hostel. With me, I'm leaving there, going to studio sessions, going to writing sessions, going to link with people for production sessions, all those different things, and I'm still preparing myself to perform. Like while I'm like not really
What?
eating, not really drinking. I like there are people who met me along the way who will
Uh,
like try to like they'll reminisce on things with me. Well, back then that was 2019. They would try to recall things with me. I'm like, this didn't happen. I go through my phone like weeks later and see pictures of everything that they said happened. I'm like, yo, my brain is just. I was fried. It was an amazing thing as an
Listen,
artist. Like
man,
many
the
artists that come from
struggle
where I come
is
from,
real.
yo, bro, like, but I like I was saying before, like I can't be mad. Like as an artist, like I got to perform in Monaco, like Las Casas, like the place where like the Grand Prix happens in front of all these
Yeah.
millionaires. I got to perform in Cannes. I got to perform all over England, like. But like the person, like the actual machine that's helping to run this thing, I came back and my mother looked at me and she was like, "Yo, just go to sleep, just go to sleep." That's
Hey,
literally what she said to me.
I'm pretty sure that the end result just it didn't matter what you had to go through. You know what I mean? Once you were able to perform in front of the crowd, I'm pretty sure that it was like, I don't care what I had to do to get here, how many bags I had to carry, how many hostels I stayed in. Like, I'm pretty sure that it was all worth it at the end. Correct?
Right.
So
Absolutely.
yeah. So for y'all
Absolutely.
watching, man, listen, it's a struggle out here. You know what I mean? It doesn't. Yeah, there's it must feel good at the end, but don't forget that there's hard work that you got to put in, and don't give up, man.
Absolutely.
Like you could have easily said, you know what, man, maybe it wasn't for me, and went back home or went to your family or whatever the case was, and he's like, nah, man, like that's not what I came here for, and you pushed through, man. So that's see, man, I always told you you're an amazing guy right there, man. This man pushes through
I
for those
appreciate
dreams. Let's go. Um, so, one of the last questions, man, obviously, know your worth TV. I think it's important that people understand that moment that they know their worth, right? What
hmm
moment in your life was it that you were like, I know my worth. This is what I'm going to be doing. I'm worth every single, penny that I put into it. What was that moment for you?
You know what? Actually, there was actually a moment that I said those almost those exact lines. 2016 at the beginning of the year. Through mutual friends that I had with somebody, they had got me a job working for this. I won't even describe it too much because a lot of these people follow me still. Got me this specific type of job, and what happened is I went down to the state that it's based out of. We did our basically it was like an orientation. What we're going to be doing with the job, this and third, and I was told that I was hired. That's why I was flew out. That's why I was brought down for the orientation. And other people who I know from like who are my friend circle also went down for the same orientation, and I recognize like everyone else is getting their job sheets, everyone's like getting their assignments, so people are going to different states and we're working through the shop or whatever, but I didn't get mine. But I had remembered, and I told my best friend, shout out to Junior, I told him if it is up to a very specific person who had a very bad attitude towards me, I'm not hired in real life. And I told him that. He's like, nah, you just gotta wait. Like, everyone does something different. 1 week turned into 2 weeks, turned into 3 weeks of me trying to get in contact with them. So one day I called off a different number, and I called the head of person who runs the organization, who runs the business, and I said, hey, what's up? I said her name, and she says, oh, hey, what's up? I'm like, she's like, who's this? I'm like, and for them, I'm like, Izzy. I'm like, hey, this is Izzy, and she's like, Izzy. Uh, oh, hi, and I'm like, yeah, I've been, trying to call. Maybe you haven't like been emailing me the right,
She was acting brand new.
right. Like, maybe you didn't email me the right information. Maybe you didn't call the wrong number. Oh yeah, well, I was under the impression that you didn't want to work here. I said, well, we haven't spoken. Who would have told you that? And she was beating around the bush, and she kind of didn't want to tell me that it was that person who I said to my best friend. I said, if it's up to that person, then I'm not going to get this job. And I remember getting off the phone, and she kind of gave me a lackluster, like, you know what, since we're in contact, maybe I can get you a couple gigs and this and the third. And I remember hanging up the phone that day and saying, this ain't it. So I came home. I bothered my little brother. I said, hey, let's work on a song. And the song's called In the Pocket. And so the song goes, I got that work. I got that work. This is what I deserve. This is what I deserve. I said it before and I'll say it again, and I won't break my promise. And a lot of people will never hear that song because, that's in the vaults. But when I said I won't break that promise, I was talking to myself. Like, I will never feel like I'm a slave to nobody again. And that's kind of when I was like, you know what? I'm way better than this. Like, I'm out here making other people's shows happen when I am my own show myself. Like, I was working on production, and everyone in production, I would be singing while I'm like moving something. And like people who have worked production for like 15, 20 years, I'm talking about these people are like in their 50s and their 60s who have worked on many a movies, many a TV shows, looked at me and they're like, you don't belong on this side of the camera. You need to be in front of the camera. And I would just kind of be like, you know what? I'm going to get there.
You know what's funny? You probably didn't even know. I've actually, and still do from time to time, I do audiovisual. And I know exactly what you feel, man. Like when you sit here and put on a production for someone and you look and you like, I belong there. Like this is it. Don't get me wrong. It's a cool experience to also be behind the scenes. And I commend anyone that does the job. I think it's just an amazing job. But I've actually put on like conferences for people and or even watched the conference go on that we put on. And I think to myself, like, man, like I see myself on that stage. So I get it, man. I definitely get it. And for someone to treat you the way that they did, that was the icing on the cake for you to realize, like, I know my worth. Like, I got this, man. Like, I don't need someone to sit here and beat around the bush or, act like I'm not good enough or worth that opportunity. So that's dope, man. That's a pretty good opportunity there. So as we kind of end up, I don't want to take too much of your time. Let people know where they can actually find you if they want to, work on a track, if they want to hear your music, or they want to follow you on social media.
Okay, first things first, let me shout out my new video rather. Dance Like Fire. You guys can check that out on YouTube. Sir. So if you guys do Elae Weekes and then dash Dance Like Fire, you can check out my new video. Go like, comment, subscribe. That's first things first. But for like, if you want to contact me, if you want to send like a professional, if you have a professional inquiry, you can email me, officialelaemusic@gmail.com. Or if you just want to hit me up, see what's good, official Elae on Instagram.
So let's go. This is the Instagram right here. If you guys want to follow him on Instagram, this is the Instagram that you're going to follow him on. I've been working here. Let's see. I just did the other one. This is where
he's working. Production's working right now.
Hey, man, it's all good. I appreciate you just coming on here. Look, this is how you're going to find him on YouTube, right? Is that correct?
Right. You could. That's on YouTube, right? And if you
what was the other one? You have another. What was the other one? What was the other one?
If they Google Elae Weekes, everything will pop up.
Okay, cool. Actually, I did that. I don't know if you've seen in the description that I actually I put on the video before you got on. It shows how you started singing at 6 years old or something like that. Is that something about 6 years old? I can remember.
Yeah. Oh, where you find that at? Oh, is it? Oh, they put my bio up.
Yeah, actually, I just Googled it, bro. I Googled your name, like you said, because I was trying to. I forgot what I was trying to do, and it had all that. So if you actually look at the description of the video, any of you guys you can kind of see a little bit more insight on him. It had that on there.
Oh, dope. Yeah, well, that's lit.
You're official, bro. You're official. Is there? Listen, man. There's so many, diverse people watching, whether they're older, younger, and hopefully we were able to kind of empower, inspire you to always know your worth and live up to those values. But for those that may be watching, if they're your age, they're younger, they're older, give them some inspiring words, man, or even the next generation that may want to kind of be in those shoes that you've been in, and what advice do you provide them?
And I know this is going to be cliche once you guys all listen to my song, but don't rely on anyone else's um smoke or embers to be your fire. Like, make sure that whatever you do is something that you started within, because when everyone else is asleep, when everyone else is quiet, when everyone else's fire has been ousted rather, um you won't live, you won't last. That is, somebody else's energy is not sufficient for yourself.
Facts.
And whatever, take the time, do the work, do the inward work to figure
Yes,
out what's going on inside, and that's your fire. And and I just pray and I hope that everybody does that. That is most important to me. That everyone finds what keeps them going. Everyone has something. There's something. You could like to collect rocks. You could like to hang glide, whatever that thing is that's going to keep you burning. Please find it and cling to it, please.
Facts. Yep. And listen, you're worth it. You know what I mean? Whatever it is that you're wanting to do, continue to chase those dreams. I think those are some amazing words from Mr. Elae Weekes. So guys, you already know where to find him, whether it's Instagram, YouTube, if you want to Google his name. Listen, if you Google his name, the dude's official, man. There's a bio up there kind of telling you exactly where to go with this guy, man. So it's been dope, man. I definitely appreciate your time. For you guys that are watching and you guys are first times, make sure that you guys subscribe, share this video. I mean, if you guys enjoy the content, make sure that you also share it. There's so many more videos coming up and really kind of showing at all walks of life, whether the older crowd, the younger crowd, the black, the white. I don't discriminate. But this has been Know Your Worth TV. I'm Efrain Lozada. Tune in again next week, Tuesday, 7 o'clock on YouTube live. And we'll share who's up next week. But again, Elae Weekes, I appreciate you, man. Much love.
Thank you for having me, King.
And continue to be amazing, brother.
Yes, sir.
Later.